Welcome to Simcoe County. I'm Marika Patton, Territory Sales Manager with Bayer Crop Science.
And I'm Todd Woodhouse, also with Bayer Crop Sciences, Market Development Agronomist, covered in South Central Ontario. So as you can see, we're standing in a field of soybeans. And the reason we're at this particular field to talk about Stratego Pro is because of our field health imagery with Climate FieldView. Let me tell you what led us to this field. This particular field has a history of white mold, and in 2017, the grower did apply a fungicide to the majority of the field. But as you can see, there is an area of the field where he left an untreated check. At harvest, the outcome of this result was a 17 bushel difference between treated and untreated. Now, if we go to 2020, we can also see some field health imagery that shows us by the middle of August that there is a slight difference starting to show up in the field. We can see this by circling an area where this is happening. And then we can take a pin and mark it, and then we can look at the applications in this field to see if it lines up with the untreated check. And in this instance, it just happens to line up with the untreated check. So from here, with our pin in the field, we can now go and scout this field and see what it looks like.
All right, here we are, end of August, in a field of soybeans up to my waist. Hard to believe that back beginning of July, we were hemming and hawing about whether to put on a fungicide in soybeans. So it was July 6th when the grower was here ready to make that decision. Field has a history of white mold, but it was fairly dry. And you could see down the rows, but he made the decision anyways because of the history of white mold to put on an application of Stratego Pro. But he did leave a check strip to see if that paid or not, and we're able to see that in field view as well. So if we look over here on this side, this is where the check strip was, so it wasn't sprayed. You can start to see some wilting of those top leaves, and that's where we know we need to go in and pull out one of those plants. And sure enough, we've got white mold here right at the base. So the closer to the base of the plant can tell you when that application or when the infection happened. So lower on in the plant is when the infection happened at early flower. And if we're starting to see that infection near the top of the plant, we know it's a late infection. So one of the later flowers made that. So the application here went on right on time when we go to the other side, but it was R1.5 when you're starting to see those first mature flowers on those nodes. And then we know we're getting the product on those flowers before they fall and before they make the infection. With white mold, it has to be preventative. We see these symptoms a month after when those initial infections happen, which would have been around that early July, maybe the 10th or 12th of July, when the infection happened, about five days after we sprayed the rest of the field. So that's what we're seeing here. If we go to the other side of the check strip here, we can see very little white mold in here at all. You can find the odd plant because we've got such a nice thick canopy, but very, very clean. And I think the grower is going to see an excellent return on investment in this field.
So the nice thing about this field is that the farmer has the application in Climate FieldView. So when it comes to harvest time, we'll know exactly what the return on investment was with the Stratego Pro application.
On any given year, it's difficult to predict the weather that's going to come after. But when you're at the critical time of early flower, putting on an application of Stratego Pro that's given consistent performance and consistent return on investment, it allows you to protect your crop right through till harvest. For more information, visit the Bayer Crop Science website.